It's really wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces coming up on the screen and seeing people's names. And my name is Michelle Yasuda, and I'm the program director for the Foundation for Conscious Living's Big Leap Home community. And so this call that you're on is part of our Big Leap Home online programs. And these programs support individuals, organizations, and communities in generating agency, connection, and creativity on our shared planet. I love that vision, that mission, and these bridge calls are part of that and a way that we come together to learn and grow together. So I'd like to invite you into a commitment. And when you hear these words, notice how they land in your body. We find that learning works best when we choose to bring curiosity, openness to learning, and appreciation of ourselves and others into the space. So I'll start us off with an appreciation. This is a tradition in our classes that I say an appreciation for our facilitator. And tonight, this facilitator happens to be my husband. So I have a lot I could appreciate about Dean. And what I want to appreciate you for is something that someone said earlier today about you to me, is how grounded you are. Your presence is so grounded at the same time of being super playful and fun. And I certainly experienced that. And I think that everyone will experience that tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the call over to you.
Cool. Thank you. And I would love, or I invite everyone, and you do it in your, you can stay muted, but I invite everyone to also give some loving appreciation to my wife, Michelle. And I want to appreciate her for creating this bridge call and being this loving, supportive person in my life and in the community. She's I see all the background work, so I really appreciate her doing this. And she does a great job. And my little puppy down there, she's great too. All right, so tonight we're going to it's a celebration, really. What I like to look at it as a celebration of breath, celebration of life. And I learned all my breathing practices from Gay Hendricks, Dr. Gay Hendricks, who's been studying breathing for over 40 years. And he has so much knowledge and so much love that he gives out to the community. And he just pours giving and loving attention and information out. And he's a beautiful human being, and I love him dearly. And his wife, of course, Katie. So tonight we're going to be going over 3 breathing practices that he teaches, and that I've learned and experienced to love over the last, was it like 8 years now? 7 years? 7 years or so that we've been with Katie and Gay. And, one of my first trainings, either Katie or Gay, they said, trainings used to be like 8 days, and it was a lot. You're like every day, you're like, oh my goodness, all this stuff. And they either Katie or Gay said, just take one thing that really struck you during this training. And I took the breathing. And I've taken on that breathing and practiced it, has been practicing it every day since I went to that first training. And it's opened up so many avenues in my body and in my life. And also, being a personal trainer, I'm a fitness trainer for the last 15, 20 years. I thought I knew a lot about breathing, that's what I always tell my people. Take a breath, take a breath. And me also taking a break, breathing. Yeah, I breathe in my lungs, and I expand, and I do all this training, and I know how to breathe. Well, after meeting Gay, I realized that I really didn't know how to consciously breathe. I knew how, thank goodness we breathe, our body just does it. So, really appreciating that we can breathe without thinking about it. And when I learned to consciously take it down and breathe into my belly, how many, how many realizations that happened for me, especially with learning to feel my feelings. And I was disconnected. I was living up here and really didn't play with the feelings and the signals that my body gives me. I knew my muscles, I knew what it felt like. I work out, so I knew all my body parts and how to train, but to really notice, what's going on down here that can give me so much information rather than just trying to think about it. So really, I love seeing all these new faces, and really take this in and let it play with this breathing practice, because it really is going to change your life. I'm not, I don't guarantee things. I can guarantee you this one: if you practice this breathing practice every day, even if it's for a few minutes, it's going to make a big difference in your life. It really will. All right, so let's start off. We're going to start off with what's called the centering breath. So what this breath is you tune into this breath when you're breathing upside down. So meaning most of us, not all of us, most of us breathe in our chest. So if you're breathing right now, just notice where your breath is. Is it coming up in your lungs, or is it coming down into your belly? Is your belly relaxed? Are you inhaling and opening up your belly like a balloon? Or are you breathing up here? So that's the fight or flight breathing, when you're breathing in your chest. It's shorter, it's not as deep. So when you bring it down into your belly, you get much bigger breath down into your belly than you do in your lungs. So what the centering breath does is it's a quick way to get you into a your breathing pattern that is normal to what we should be breathing, really. And so lost my thought here. Can we take a breath and I'll get it back? All right. So yes, the centering breath. So let's play with it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and start playing with this centering breath. So what I want you to do is we'll start with our belly. So put your hands on your belly. Okay. And just for now, we'll just breathe your normal breath. Just push your belly out gently. So let's see. Let me put myself back here. So just push your belly out gently, and then gently squeeze your belly back into your spine. So you're just breathing your normal breath for now, just getting the motion. So learning to loosen your belly on the in-breath and out-breath. So we're just going to get the motion first. So expanding your belly and tightening ever so slightly. You're not forcing it, you're just tightening a little, expanding and tightening. So that's the rhythm of breathing that we want to get to. So with the centering breath, what you're going to do, I'll talk you through it first and then we can play with it. You're going to be taking a nice deep breath And then you're going to blow out like you're blowing out a candle in front of you, squeezing your belly, getting all the air out of your belly. You keep your hand there, you can feel it. Squeezing the air out. And then for about a second, just hold and then loosen your belly and take a breath in. And then just breathe your normal breathing pattern. So that's the centering breath. It's a quick way to bring yourself back to, oh, I'm breathing in my chest. Let me breathe it down into my belly. You know, we've been taught to hold our, you know, in our culture, our belly should be in and we should be looking good, you know, and standing up straight. You know, I was in the military for 20 years, so that was everything. Chest up, you know, everything was stiff and rigid. And I didn't know what I wasn't breathing. I was breathing because I was scared. So, and being a trainer too, like I have a six-pack. I'm not supposed to have my belly sticking out. Well, now, you know, I let it loosen up there a little bit and just breathe down into my belly. So, you know, having tight pants and tight clothes can hinder that motion. So really, you know, wearing clothes that you can comfortably breathe down into your belly is a really nice feeling. And what I've learned is it doesn't matter who cares what people see when they see my belly. All I know is I'm breathing and I feel good and I feel centered when I'm breathing down into my belly. And I'm out of my fight or flight brain and into my prefrontal cortex, my choice brain, my thinking brain. And that feels so much more, that feels so much nicer for me anyway, than being sucked in and breathing up in my chest. So yeah, let's play with that a little bit more. Okay, so take a nice deep breath. Blow the candle out across the room. Get all the air out of your belly. Hold it for a second and then release it. Just release your belly and breathe in. And then just breathe your normal breathing pattern. Another way I like to play with this breath too is noticing the when you feel, you can use it like if you're feeling tense. So what you're going to do is so just have your hands out in front of you. So let's just practice with this. And just squeeze gently and then release. Squeeze and just do that a few times. Don't try and break your fist, but squeeze like you're squeezing and release. Squeeze and release. So then now you can add the breath. So you're going to take an inhale, and then as you're blowing out, you're squeezing your fist. And then when you get to the end for a second, and then breathe in, open your hands up. So that can, what I like to imagine is, you know, when you're feeling tense in your body, often we don't realize that we're tense. So you're tightened up. So playing with tensing your hand and opening, your body can start realizing, oh, I'm either tense or relaxed. And relax, open your hands. And you can also play with this breath with anything that you're gripping onto, something that you're holding onto too tightly. You can imagine that in your hand and squeezing it, and then just letting it be. You don't have to grip on. Often we grip onto ideas or worry thoughts too much. So just open your hands and just let it there. It's always going to be there, but if you create some space around it, then that's when we can bring in, you know, thoughts and ideas come in and solutions. I know that I've noticed that. So that's another way to play with the centering breath. Anybody have any questions or thoughts about that? Just unmute or raise your hand. Yeah, sure.
I just have a comment. How I've done quite a bit of breath work, but how powerful such a simple thing is. Straight away, I felt more energy rushing through my hands. That was even before I did the squeezing. It was just tingling all over, just doing that breath the first time even. Really impressive. It's a nice, powerful tool and so simple.
Yeah.
I just love it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I love about what Gay has discovered and learned over his years of, he's been around the world. He's been taught by so many people that he's learned about breathing. And what I love about Gay is it's all about making it in your zone of comfort. There's so much breath work out there, and you can experiment, of course. But what I love with his breathing techniques is it's in your zone of comfort, and it's not this super strainy thing that you have to, and do, and some of it is good too. I've experienced, I've tried other breathing techniques, and it's been fun. But this one I always come back to his. So thank you so much for that. So this next breathing practice is called the healing breath or reset breath. He calls it both. And it's the same. It's just about the same as the centering breath, but we're going to be holding the breath out longer. So what happens when we're in our fight or flight thinking or anger or stress, our body produces a lot of acidity. And so it gets unbalanced. And so what this breath does, it balances your acid alkaline in your body so we can feel a sense of calmness. I use it for when you're stuck on something, if you're trying to do a project and you're just like, you do this breath. When you're trying to make decisions, I work with fitness, so people want to eat something that they're not going to, don't eat that. Okay, take a pause and do this one breath, and most times they'll say, yeah, I'll choose the right food to eat here, or they'll just enjoy it, and then they'll come back and I'm like, all right, you're going to work out harder. But so anyway, yeah. So this healing breath. It's the same principle. You're going to be taking a deep breath in, blowing the candle out, but this time you're going to be blowing all the air out. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to blow all the air out of your belly. You're going to hold your nose so you can hold it, and you're going to hold the air out for as long as you're feeling comfortable. You don't want to be straining, or it's not a competition. And then when you feel you need to take a breath in, you don't want to be gasping the air in. You want to just let the breath flow in down into your belly, and then take a few easy breaths after that. So what's happening is you're taking all the oxygen out of your body. And when you get to the end, our body always holds on. It has CO2 in our body that our body produces. And when we hold the air out, our body will start, doing its thing. And it's going to say, okay, time to breathe. And then you breathe in oxygen. It blends with that CO2 that's in your body. And that's what gets you into you feel this nice sense of calmness. And, the more you practice, you want to hold it out just a little bit longer each time, but not to the point where you're going to, freak out. And like I said, but just hold it just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. And, for me, after practicing it for just a few months, you can hold it out for quite a long time. Because sometimes people might get a little scared, like holding your breath out. People might get a little scared. Oh, no. But then as you start learning this breath, you can hold it out a little longer, hold it out a little longer. But the key is to always keep it in your zone of comfort. So when your body says breathe, so the in breath is going to be an easy in breath, not a, It's a nice in-breath, just like that. All right, so let's go and play with that a little bit more. So if you're all ready, so nice, take a nice big in-breath, fill your belly up with air, blow the candle out across the room, push all the air out of your belly. Then you can hold your nose if you want. And then relax your belly if that feels good. Relax and soften your body. And just take your time and breathe in when you need to. So keep it in your zone of comfort. And then just breathe your normal breath after that. And just notice what's happening in your body. Notice what's happening in your head, in your mind. Take some easy breaths. Do you feel a sense of calmness? And we'll do it one more time, just to get a nice experience of this breath. So again, take a nice deep in-breath. Blow the candle out. Get all the air out, and you can hold your nose if you want to, or just pause there. Soften your body. Just really try and soften your body as you're holding that air out. And then when you need to, just take a nice deep breath in through your nose, down into your belly. Yeah, I noticed the longer and longer I practice, and the longer I hold it out, for me anyway, when I take that breath in, it's like this, my mind just goes, it's like, wow, it's like a natural high, it's like, whoa. And it really feels good. And you can do smaller ones too. So if you're out in a meeting or somewhere that you feel a little stressed, get a little anxious, you can do little tiny ones. You can just pull a little bit of air out, hold it out, and take a deep breath in. So that way, somebody might not come to your rescue if they see you doing something that looks a little and going, because I like to also use that when I'm it's the small ones, not the big ones, when I'm driving, if you're in traffic, just do a small one. And just be with the traffic, because why fight it? Well, that's what I think. Why fight it? If you're in it, you're in it, and just practice my breathing so I don't get anxious or angry when I'm out there. And another way I play with this breath too is using it as a tool of like letting go of something, just releasing something that might be in my mind. That's blah, 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 blah. Take that breath and just take whatever thoughts you're having or issues and just blow, release it. Hold it out. And then when you breathe in, what do you want to breathe in? I want to breathe in clarity. I want to breathe in love. I want to breathe in peace. So whatever, thinking about that. But when you breathe that thing out, that issue, as you're holding it out, like, okay, I want to breathe in peace. And I breathe in peace. I breathe in clarity. I breathe in love, self-love. And so that's another way that you can play with that breath. Yeah. Anybody has any thoughts or experiences from doing that?
I have a question.
Sure.
You said soften your body.
Yeah.
And did I hear you say relax your stomach or
Listen.
relax your belly?
Yeah, after you breathe the air out, you're
Yeah.
squeezing the air out.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do hold it tight, but I
Yeah.
find it also, I find it more relaxing when I can just soften everything as I hold the air out.
Okay, and that includes your belly.
Yeah, including my belly.
Okay.
Just let
Okay.
it hang out.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, me again.
Yeah,
I
of
tried
course.
to do that twice, softening the belly, and I couldn't. I
Yeah.
straight away went, oh, then I need to breathe. What's that about?
It does, that's something you got to play with just as you experiment more and more. And like I said, some people hold their bellies tight while they're doing this, and some people loosen it. So find what works for you.
Right.
Just experiment, and nothing wrong. There's nothing
I just
wrong.
felt like I physically was not able to let the muscles go, which was weird.
Yeah. And then that's something you can just wonder on. Like you're like, I wonder why my belly stays tight when I'm doing this breath. And that's it, and just keep it simple and keep it easy on yourself, and not try and figure it out. And okay, my body's doing something and it's okay. And I'm doing this breath, and that's it.
Nice. That's valuable feedback. Thanks.
Yeah, your belly will give you feedback. We judge, and I know I do, judge and criticize ourselves so much. And like, can we be kind to ourselves? Maybe that's a good thought, I know my life has gotten much nicer since I've learned to love my judger and criticizer, and just like, okay, there they are. And just kind of invite them in, befriend them, and give them a little love, and like, hey, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm Dean's here. You guys just calm down a little bit. So that's been a big shift for me from learning to breathe, really. That's when I had more realizations about how harsh I was on myself. And that's it. It's been like I said, life-changing practices for me. And I use it for part of my training too, is when I train my people, and at the end we do a breathing practice, and they might not know what we're doing, but I just have them do it, and they experience some they feel good, and they go, oh wow, I feel really good after doing that. Like, yeah, I'll just keep doing it. Just remember that thought and go, yeah, just keep doing that. Feels good, keep doing it. And so learning to just learning to breathe consciously has been very delicious. So all right, okay, we'll spend a little more time on this last breath. It's called the yes breath. And this one is a beautiful breath. And you'll see why it's called a yes breath as we practice. And Gay studied happy, healthy babies is one of his things that he studied. And a happy, healthy baby, they automatically breathe in their bellies. They come out. They're belly breathers. And even little children, if you have children and they're young, they usually breathe in, they're walking around with their belly out and they're breathing, and then all the outside things happen, and we get traumatized and start breathing into our chest, loud noises, and no, don't do that, and you have to do it like this, and stop feeling, you're okay, stop crying, and then that's when it changes into we hold our breath, and when you see kids get scared, or even adults, they at first, and then that quick breathing. So learning to breathe in our belly has been is life-changing. And you know, also one thing Gay talked about in this last one of his talks that I'd heard, that there's about a teacup of blood in our upper lungs, and there's a quart of blood that sits in the lower part of our lungs. So when we breathe down into our belly, you get more access to that oxygen coming in. Than when it's just up here. So yeah, let's play with this yes breath. I'll go through the steps first, and then, you know, I'll show it to you first, and then you'll see how it feels. Actually, you go through it with me. So if you're sitting on a chair, if you can get on the edge of your chair, so your back's off the back and your feet flat on the ground. And then what you can do is put your hand on your belly again, and just start doing what we did earlier. And so we're just breathing normal for now. So you're gonna expand your belly and then tighten slightly. So what you're gonna notice too is as you expand your belly, your back's gonna arch a little. So don't over arch it, just a little bit. It's gonna arch. And then as you bring your belly in, your back's gonna round. So it's rounding and arching. And then also you're going to notice your pelvis moving back and forth, right in here. Your pelvic. So down here, you're going to be moving as you inhale and exhale. So your pelvis is going to tip forward as you inhale and tip back as you exhale. So just imagine like it's a bowl of water. So as you inhale, it's tipping and pouring out to the front. And as you exhale, it tips back and pours water out back. Looks like this. So we're just doing the movement for now. And also this movement, you want to get it to about a 5-second movement. So it's 5 seconds forward, expanding your belly, and then 5 seconds back. That's the ideal you want to get to, 4 to 5 second. So first we're just doing the movement, and then we're going to add the breath in a little bit. But I like for you to get the motion and the speed of this yes breath. So it's 5 seconds forward, 5 seconds back. And then notice your shoulders too. Loosen your shoulders if it feels tight. Sometimes we get, we're learning something new and we can get tensed up. So just soften your shoulders. So expanding your belly, arching your back. And then pulling your belly button back and rounding your back. Your pelvis is going to just automatically move. And then if you look at this motion, you see my chin is just automatically going up and down, like I'm saying yes. So now that you got that motion down, go ahead and start adding your breath. So you're going to breathe in slowly. So breathe in slowly. And then exhale slowly. So that's the ticket here is you're breathing in slowly. And you're exhaling slowly. And if you can do it through your nose, that'd be ideal. Breathing in through your nose, and you can exhale through your mouth or your nose. but make it easy. Keep it in your zone of comfort. Not trying to over inhale or over exhale. Just keep it easy. And if you can't get to that 4 or 5 second, it's okay. It just takes practice. Yeah, and then you might notice that you're yawning, or because you're not used to breathing and getting this much oxygen in your body. So it can, get a little yawn in there. All right, so go ahead and pause for a second and just move your body around a little. And sometimes we just need a few minutes of breathing, and or often we can, as we're learning something, we can our learning personas come in, and we've got to do it right and got to listen, and it can get intense. So let's take a break. And then we're going to do it a little bit more, and we'll fine tune the breath a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, just move your shoulders around. All right, so let's go ahead and play with that again. So put your hand on your belly button and just gently start inhaling, filling your belly up, arching your back, and exhaling, bringing your belly down into your spine and rounding your back. Get a nice, easy rhythm. So slow inhale, slow exhale. And now I want you to notice the turnover point of the inhale and the exhale. So make that slow too. So you inhale and make that transition slow, just like your exhale. And you bring it out to the exhale, and then slowly bring it in on the inhale. So it's not, I noticed when I first started doing it, it was quick. I was exhaling slowly and quickly coming into the inhale and inhaling slowly. So get that whole rhythm from the inhale to the exhale in one easy, slow movement. And that's what's going to bring us into our prefrontal cortex, in our thinking brain, and get us out of our fight or flight brain. Nice, slow breath. You can practice this, a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes in the morning, 2 or 3 minutes at night. Because when you need it, you practice it when you're not in fear. So when we do become angry or in fear, our body will remember to breathe. Because often once we get into fear mode, that's it, the party's on, and we're in it, and we won't remember. So learning to breathe when we're in a calm state of learning, the more you practice, I notice the more I practice, when I do get angry or do get anxiety, my body goes, hey, breathe. Okay. It usually takes 3 conscious breaths, conscious belly breaths, to get us back, or at least get us a little bit back into ourselves. And then the more you do it, the more you can feel your body and, okay, I'm coming home. I'm thinking again. I'm here where I'm at, not floating off into anger land or future or past, or just in our heads. So breathing, just practice. That's the big thing. Just like anything we do. The more you practice, the more you fine tune it, and then you reap the benefits of the breath. And also as you're breathing, notice like your the rhythm of it when you're breathing. Notice if your belly has a harder time taking breath in or a harder time exhaling. If it's jangly, and then you just play with that and start smoothing it out. What I've learned over the years is what I like to think of it as you inhale, you're experiencing life. And as you exhale, how you express yourself in life. So sometimes the jangly could be in the side that you're not letting yourself experience enough, or we're not expressing enough, expressing our genius that we brought to this world, that you're here for, to share your knowledge and share your whatever gifts you have that we can give to each other and to the world. All right. Any questions or things pop up during that breath?
I love reminding myself something you alluded to, and that is the knowing that 3 good, full, healthy belly breaths can completely change my mood and my stuckness for the better. And by the same token, 3 shallow, constricted breaths can put me in a stuck or less happy place. And I can forget that sometimes that take some good, full, healthy belly breaths, and the world can look completely different.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Jody. Thanks for that reminder, bringing that on the opposite too. I love that. The 3 constricted breaths can take you right to the other way.
Yeah.
To the other side. Oh, was it Anne?
Hi, it's Anna.
Anna, oh, hi.
I was just wondering, the yes breath, is it a continuation of the other 2 breath techniques? So on the exhale, do we also like blow out like a candle and kind of pull in the belly?
This one you want to keep in a nice slow rhythm. So this one is a continuous motion of the breath. So like I said, about 4 to 5 seconds on the inhale, and then 4 to 5 seconds on the exhale. You want to get this breath in a nice flow. So on that transition part too, you want to keep that in a nice smooth, from the exhale to the inhale, keep that smooth and not a quick, because often I noticed that when I first started, it's like exhale slowly and then inhale quickly and inhale slowly and then exhale quickly and exhale slowly. And then as I practice more, I notice, I'm doing that. Let me get it into a easy inhale and easy exhale. And that really changed a lot in my consciousness, really.
Okay, cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the healing and the reset breath is like a quick way. The healing breath is a quick way when you're feeling stuck or working on something and you're just like, you do the healing breath, blow all the air out, hold it out as long as you can, take a breath in. And then the first one is if you're not used to breathing into your belly, that's a quick way to just like, I think I'm breathing in my chest. Let me see if I do the centering breath. And then, okay, that's what it feels like. So that, the more and more you practice, then you'll start being able to notice when you're holding your breath more. And that's a good practice just to notice anyway in your day. Just notice when you're holding your breath. Often when we're doing stuff, usually is when we hold our breath. When we're doing an activity or writing or typing, And then, oh, you know, we take a breath. So just notice when you're holding your breath and then go, oh, and be kind to yourself. Like, oh, wow, I'm holding my breath. Let me take some, this gives me opportunity to take some nice conscious breaths.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love using this breath when I'm driving, the yes breath, especially when I'm driving. Well, one of the seminars I was with Gay, he talked about when you're driving, don't look at your time when you're driving. Don't look at the clock. Don't look at and just breathe in your belly and drive. And what I've noticed, because I was like, I'm going to test this out. You know, I had my testing persona. I'm like, sure, I'll prove that, prove it. So I went out and I started breathing in my belly. And even when I know I can get somewhere, I have to be somewhere and it takes 15 minutes and I'm 14 minutes, I'm like getting in the car going, oh my God, I'm late. I stop, I start breathing in my belly, don't look at the time. And I'd say 90-something% of the time I get there on time, or sometimes even earlier. And I go, how did that happen? I don't know. But I know when I breathe in my belly, I don't look at the time, the traffic flows, the green lights are there, the parking space, everything just happens. And then when I play it the other way, the people are cutting me off. I'm hitting every red light. And it's like, oh my God, like, wow, this really works. And it's amazing that something so simple, breathe in your belly and don't look at your clock. Okay. And now I'm like, I'm doing that and it feels good. You're more aware. I know I'm more aware of our surroundings, see cars moving in a certain way. And can always get there on time. So that's something you can experiment and see if it works for you. I know it works for me.
We had a question in the chat about the tongue. So it says, Harleen asked, are you remembering to keep the tongue away from the roof of your mouth? Do you want to speak, Harleen, do you want to speak a little bit more about that question? Or is that, no? Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. Never really, I didn't really thought about that one. Keeping your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. So when you're holding the out breath out.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm thinking about Gay and all the years of him teaching breathing, and he doesn't focus on that. And I know that's something that other breath work does focus on. So I know for myself, and Jody's been around the Hendricks for even longer than us. Do you have anything on that, on the like where to keep your tongue, other than like feeling relaxed? I think that's one of the thoughts that I have, that Gay would be talking about having it relaxed. So that makes sense to me.
Were you asking me?
Yeah, Jody, since you've been around even longer, I know since Dean and I have been around, Gay hasn't focused on that. So
I've never heard it mentioned.
Right.
So I'm curious, what is the school of thought that relates to that?
Yeah, me too.
There you are.
Okay,
There you are.
So as an RYT 200 yoga teacher, I work with a lot of elderly people. We do chair yoga. I mean, I also do a beginner level. But I noticed that people, instead, if I say, keep your face off, a lot of elderly women are like, oh, hell no, I'm going to keep that jaw up there, right? And so I have to remind them, lips together, teeth apart. You should always be able to silently go la le li lo lu with your tongue in your mouth. And instantly, it's going to open up your throat diaphragm, okay? So I'm all through class, I'll remind them gently, lips together, teeth apart. And I find for myself that facilitates that throat diaphragm for easier breathing. And if my tongue is up against the roof of my mouth, guess what? I'm chest breathing. So if I notice my tongue first, where's that tongue? And then I go back to my belly breathing more. So I just thought I would ask if that was a part of that or not. So thank you for allowing me to ask.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing what you shared about it.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Thank you. I know for me, I do keep because I used to clench my teeth and hold a lot of anger right here. So I'm learning to just open my, keeping my teeth, opening my jaw and not clenching my teeth has made a big difference. But the tongue, I never really noticed it. I haven't noticed my tongue up on the top. I try to keep it down, but that's good to know. Thank you. A good reminder for me too.
Sounds like an interesting thing to try your own.
Play with.
Yeah, play with it and see what happens for each person.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think probably in what I'm thinking about with Gay is because the focus so much is on keep it easy, that he doesn't introduce too many things to be focusing on. And so now the next time I'm with Gay, I'm going to ask him about the tongue, and because I'm curious. One of our other colleagues learned another breath work practice, and they were talking about the tongue, and I just can't remember what exactly they said about it. But so that's why I wasn't surprised by your question. It was more like, oh, that's interesting that Gay doesn't focus on that. But definitely the teeth, like the relaxed mouth is so like that. I feel like I'm conscious of. So yeah, I'm excited to sort of play with that. It's good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we're coming up to ending. Anybody else having any questions or thoughts or experience of what you felt during this hour you'd like to share?
I think one thing I'd like to share, and please, anybody who wants to speak, just raise your hand or go ahead and just unmute. But one of the things that, and Anna made me think of it, what I noticed is that practicing the centering breath prepares me for the yes breath, because I'm, like you said, Dean, I'm making sure that I am actually tightening the belly muscles a little bit on that out breath and opening up the belly on the in breath. So it's like a natural what am I trying to say? What word is this? Progression. Thank you. And they're different. They have different purposes. So I noticed that, but I do remember in one of our trainings that some of our folks were getting a little bit confused about thinking the yes breath was the opposite of the healing breath or the centering breath. And so it is helpful for me to think, yes, it's the same motion with the stomach. You're just doing some different, obviously the pacing's different and the purpose is different. But I do notice that by practicing that reset healing breath in particular, and help kind of, well, I would say like train myself. It trained me to be able to do more of the yes breath and have that become the habit breath for me.
Yeah, thank you.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, and also with the yes breath, you can practice this laying down too.
Oh yeah.
Put your knees up and your feet on the bed, and your knees are up and your feet are on the bed. And then you can play with arching your back a little bit, just a tiny bit, as you inhale, and then pressing your back onto your mattress or wherever your floor, and exhaling. Your chin's going to move in the opposite direction because you're laying down. So don't, but yeah, slightly arching your back and bending your knees and feet on the bed. I felt that's the most comfortable, because sometimes when you lay your legs out, your back will pop up. So, and then just play with that while you wake up. It's really nice when you wake up and take a few easy conscious breaths and throw in some appreciation of, oh yeah, appreciate me waking up. I appreciate that I can breathe. I appreciate that I can stand up and use this body it's a really great way to start your morning, and even at the end of the night too. Take some few breaths and appreciate your day and appreciate your life. And I like to just appreciate all the little things that we sometimes take for granted. Appreciate my movement of my fingers. Appreciate that I can taste, I can smell. So just keep it, in your body. Give your body a lot of love because it does a lot of work. And we sometimes tend not to give it any appreciation,
I love that you mentioned that, because I think that's one of my favorite things, is being in appreciation, whether it's for all the parts of my body or my bed, my shower,
Yeah.
it's and if tell me if I remember correctly, the healing breath is called that because it changes your pH or something.
Yeah, your acid alkaline in your body. Alkaline in your body.
Yeah, so because like it's healing. Like if you're starting to get a cold, or doesn't Gay, like as soon as he gets a symptom,
He does he uses it also if he's flying or someone sneezes next to him. The first thing he does is just exhales all the air out, because usually any germs will be in the air for about 20-25 seconds, before it goes away. So the longer you can, if it's like achoo, and you like hold it as long as you can, and then take a breath in. And he hasn't gotten a cold in like 23 years or something. He has never gotten a cold. And
you just, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of another thing that Gay would talk about, now that you're bringing that up, Jody, with the healing and the airplane, that if Gay felt like something was coming on, that he lays down and I've done this since, so I'm giving the source of where I got it from, but I've experimented with this myself and found that it works. Doing a few healing breaths and really aligning with my body and letting I like to let my body know I'm letting whatever this is through, and I don't need to get sick. I'm not in a way of like trying to grip to it or control it, but more really being willing for my body to come back into alignment. If it can do that, I'm inviting that in. And I feel like that's what Gay would talk about, doing a few of those breaths and then maybe taking a nap or having a little rest. And so, yeah, that's
good.
Yeah, that's cool reminder, Jody, about why it was called the healing breath, because it goes by both names. And I often focus more on the reset part of it. So I'm appreciating you focusing more on that healing part of it. That's very cool. Yeah.
I have a quick question. I want to thank you for the presentation. Now, I was just wondering, is there more? Does Gay have, other breathing exercises, for want of a better word?
He has another diaphragmatic healing, diaphragmatic breathing practice. Was a little bit more active, and he has that one. He adds all this breath with manifestation and different methods of releasing things. So he just brings it all together in that. And they also have a book called Breathing Ecstasy that is a breathing practices. But yeah, I think what I love about his breathing, he keeps it simple, but it's powerful, and so there's not too much moving parts. It's just do this, just practice this. And I know it's been like I said, it's transformed my life anyway, and I love them.
I'm going to put my my hat on as the enrollment consultant of the Hendricks Institute, that if you want to learn straight from Gay, there are trainings that Gay is still teaching. He's teaches some breathing methods in the Evolutionary Playground, which has already started we'll have another round in August. And in some of the all of the advanced trainings, he teaches some breathing. Also, there's the breathing box is still for sale,
yeah.
and you can find the breathing box if you. Let me see if I can quickly find the link, but I'll look for that. If you want to just hang on the call, we'll end the call. And but it's called the breathing box. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find it, and that you can learn all of the methods that we learned in the advanced training. So there's the toning breath that Dean brought up, and one
the
other
spiral breath. The spiral breath
Yeah,
is
the
a
spiral breath.
breathing practice that he does laying down, and it's beautiful. I practiced that one too.
So I want to thank Dean for this amazing presentation, and yeah, so beautiful. I feel your heart and your skill in breathing. And and I didn't put contact information for Dean. I'll put that in the chat. And also this recording will be available. So if you want to revisit it, it might take a week or so, but it'll be up on the site at some point. And that's YouTube Hendricks Institute. So that's one place where you'll find it. And then the Foundation for Conscious Living. But I want to thank everybody for being with us today. Thank you so very much for creating this community together, and hope to see you in the future.
Big breath.
Thanks, Dean. Thanks, Dean, Michelle, and Billy the dog.
That's right.
Thank you, everyone. Lots of love.